Arguably the most intriguing and controversial religious relic in the world, the Shroud of Turin is facing major scrutiny from a new 3D finding published in the academic journal Archaeometry.
After centuries of mystery, intense study, and endless debate, the Shroud of Turin continues to captivate the world in ways few artifacts ever have. Recently, Jonathan Roumie, widely known for portraying Jesus, made a striking statement that reignited global attention, suggesting that what scientists have discovered on the shroud seems almost beyond explanation, as though it defies the known laws of nature.
This showed up. It's raised on a molecular level, and the only other time that they've seen an imprint that was left a physical mark of vibration, an imprint that was beyond the surface, was in.
For decades, researchers, historians, and believers alike have examined this ancient cloth, studying the faint yet haunting image of a man who appears to have endured unimaginable suffering. Every fiber, every mark, and every subtle detail seems to tell a story where history, faith, and science collide. Join us as we explore why the shroud's mystery feels deeper and more compelling than ever before. The stunning statement that reignited the Shroud of Turin mystery. Jonathan Roumie, the actor known worldwide for playing Jesus on screen, recently spoke about the Shroud of Turin in a way that felt deeply emotional and unsettling. His words spread quickly, not because they were loud or dramatic, but because they touched something mysterious and difficult to explain. He suggested that what scientists discovered on the shroud feels beyond normal human understanding, something that seems to sit outside the rules of ordinary experience. That single idea was enough to pull old questions back into the spotlight, rekindling fascination with a centuries-old mystery. The Shroud of Turin has always carried weight. It is not just a piece of cloth stored in a cathedral. It is an object that has made believers feel closer to faith and has challenged scientists for decades. When Roumie spoke about it, many listeners felt he was not trying to prove anything, but reacting to the strange facts surrounding the cloth. His reaction reflected the same feeling many researchers and viewers share when they first learn about the shroud. It creates wonder, confusion, and curiosity all at once, leaving a lingering sense that this object holds secrets that may never be fully understood. What made his statement so powerful is the timing and his role. As someone who has spent years portraying Jesus, Roumie has often spoken about faith, history, and meaning. So when he showed deep amazement over the shroud, people paid attention. Some listeners misunderstood his words and rushed to extreme ideas, while others simply felt drawn into the mystery again. This is important because the real story is not about aliens or science fiction, but about why this cloth keeps leaving experts without simple answers. The curiosity sparked by his statement is a reminder of how personal and emotional the connection to the shroud can be. The shroud shows the faint image of a man who appears to have been beaten, pierced, and crucified. The marks match injuries described in ancient texts about Roman executions. Scientists who examined it found that the image is not painted, not drawn, and not burned onto the cloth in a normal way. The fibers are discolored only on the surface, thinner than a human hair. This detail alone has puzzled researchers for years, because no known method from the past can fully explain it. It is a combination of simplicity and complexity, a cloth ordinary in appearance but extraordinary in its hidden story. Roumie's reaction seems to come from this gap between what is known and what remains mysterious. When people say something feels not from this planet, they are often trying to describe how far it sits outside everyday experience. It does not mean extraterrestrial involvement. It means the object behaves in ways that feel unfamiliar, surprising, and beyond normal tools of explanation. His words captured that emotional response, not a scientific claim, reflecting the sense of awe and wonder that the shroud inspires in countless people across centuries. This moment matters because it reminds everyone how quickly mystery can turn into misunderstanding. the shroud has been tested, debated, doubted, and defended. Some tests suggest it comes from the Middle Ages, while others raise questions about contamination and testing limits. Some experts see it as a powerful symbol, others as a historical puzzle, and some as both at the same time. Roumie's statement did not end the debate. Instead, it reopened it for a new audience, inviting fresh eyes and renewed fascination. As the excitement grows, one question becomes impossible to ignore. What exactly did scientists truly find on the shroud, and what do verified studies actually reveal when emotion and exaggeration are set aside? To understand why this cloth still refuses to give clear answers, attention must turn to what the shroud truly is, where it came from, and why it continues to matter so much today. What the Shroud of Turin really is, and why it matters. The Shroud of Turin is far more than a simple piece of linen. It is a bridge between history, faith, and enduring mystery. At first glance, it may appear as just another cloth, yet its story quickly captures attention and imagination. Measuring over 14 feet in length, the linen bears a faint, almost ghostly image of a man who seems to have endured severe suffering. The figure shows signs of wounds, bruises, and other marks consistent with crucifixion, an execution method used in ancient times. Every fold and stain of this cloth carries a sense of history, evoking awe, reverence, and deep curiosity. Historical records trace the shroud to the 14th century in Europe, though some theories suggest it may have existed much earlier. Over centuries, it has traveled across countries, survived devastating fires, and remained hidden in secret locations, occasionally appearing to the public under strict display conditions. Pilgrims, scholars, and the faithful have all been drawn to witness the shroud, sensing something sacred embedded within its fibers. For many believers, it represents a tangible connection to events and figures of profound spiritual significance. For scientists and skeptics, it remains a compelling puzzle, resistant to simple explanations, especially regarding the creation of the mysterious image. The image itself is one of the shroud's most captivating features. Subtle and delicate, it seems almost like a shadow etched lightly into the fabric, yet detailed enough to reveal the contours of a human body and face. Extensive scientific examinations, including microscopic analysis and chemical testing, have revealed that the image affects only the very surface of the linen fibers. This detail continues to challenge researchers, as no known medieval technique could produce such an effect. Even the bloodstains on the cloth have been confirmed to contain real human proteins, blending historical, biological, and enigmatic elements into a single artifact. The shroud has also maintained a unique magnetic pull throughout history. Artists, historians, pilgrims, and the curious have been drawn to its presence, each sensing the weight of mystery surrounding it. Some perceive it as evidence of divine intervention, while others consider it a remarkable artifact crafted with extraordinary skill. Its fascination lies in its ability to inspire emotion and reflection simultaneously. Every wrinkle, burn mark, and careful repair contributes to a narrative of survival, devotion, and the passage of centuries. The shroud is alive in memory, imagination, and scholarship, even while remaining safely preserved behind protective glass. The significance of the shroud is not confined to the mystery of its image alone. It reflects humanity's ongoing encounter with the unexplained and the profound emotional responses triggered by objects that defy understanding. Its enduring allure demonstrates why responses like Jonathan Roumie's capture attention, resonating with those who recognize the power of such a rare artifact. Each examination, each analysis, each new discovery adds another layer to the story, strengthening its place as one of the most intriguing and studied relics in history. To fully appreciate its continued impact, attention must turn to the scientific findings, verified studies, and the discoveries that challenge both belief and empirical understanding. The Shroud's story deepens at the intersection of mystery and investigation, leading naturally to the revelations uncovered by decades of careful research. What scientists have actually discovered on the Shroud? Decades of careful study have revealed surprising and fascinating details about the Shroud of Turin, making it one of the most analyzed relics in history. Scientists have approached it with microscopes, chemical tests, and even advanced imaging technology, attempting to uncover the secrets hidden in its fibers. The image on the cloth is unlike anything seen in medieval art or known historical techniques. It is extremely faint, appearing only on the very top layer of the linen threads. The discoloration does not penetrate deep into the fabric, and no traces of paint, ink, or dye have been detected. This detail alone has left researchers puzzled for generations, as nothing in historical records can fully explain its formation. Blood traces add another layer of mystery. Laboratory analysis has confirmed the presence of real human blood, including hemoglobin and bilirubin, suggesting that the stains came from a living body. The marks correspond to wounds that match descriptions of crucifixion, with punctures consistent with nails and detailed abrasions that appear on the back and forehead. These findings make the Shroud a remarkable blend of biology, history, and enigma. While skeptics argue that medieval artisans could have created the image, the combination of precise blood evidence and the unusual formation of the figure makes the task extraordinarily difficult to replicate. Scientific study has also examined the three-dimensional qualities of the Shroud. When scanned using modern imaging technology, the figure produces a depth map, revealing contours that suggest a human form pressed against the fabric. This discovery surprised many researchers, as most medieval artistic methods do not naturally produce three-dimensional effects. The peculiar combination of faint coloration, bloodstains, and subtle 3D detail continues to challenge conventional explanations and encourages careful debate among scholars. Radiocarbon dating has provided additional insight, though it has fueled controversy. Tests conducted in 1988 suggested that the Shroud originated between 1260 and 1390 AD, pointing to a medieval creation rather than a 1st century artifact. However, some experts have questioned these results, suggesting that contamination or repair work may have skewed the dates. Despite these challenges, the carbon tests remain a widely cited reference point in discussions about the Shroud's age. The debate illustrates how science can provide critical information while still leaving room for mystery and interpretation. Another intriguing aspect is the chemical composition of the cloth. Microscopic examinations reveal subtle traces of pollen from plants native to the Middle East, reinforcing the possibility that the Shroud may have had a history far older than its first European records. Additionally, the fibers show signs of fire damage and careful restoration over the centuries, adding evidence of its long and turbulent journey. Each test, each new discovery, adds a layer of complexity, combining scientific observation with the weight of human history and devotion. The scientific findings highlight the Shroud's uniqueness. While many questions remain unanswered, verified research confirms that it is not a simple piece of cloth. Its faint image, real human blood, 3D features, and chemical traces form a combination rarely seen in any other artifact. These discoveries help explain why it continues to captivate imagination, inspire devotion, and provoke debate. The Shroud of Turin is a living puzzle at the intersection of faith, history, and science, inviting careful study and respect in equal measure. The next focus naturally turns to the ongoing debate about authenticity, examining evidence, skepticism, and faith, which continues to make the Shroud one of the most fascinating and contested relics in existence. The Great Debate. The Shroud of Turin has long stood at the center of one of history's most fascinating debates. Scholars, scientists, and believers have all examined it, each arriving at different conclusions, yet no definitive answer has emerged. The main question is deceptively simple. Does this cloth date back to the time of Jesus, or is it a product of the Middle Ages? While some evidence points in one direction, other findings contradict it, keeping the shroud wrapped in layers of mystery. Radiocarbon testing conducted in the late 20th century suggested that the shroud originated between 1260 and 1390 AD, placing it firmly in our medieval period. This finding immediately sparked skepticism and debate, as it seemed to challenge centuries of belief and legend. Critics of the carbon tests argue that contamination, repairs, or even exposure to smoke could have skewed the results, making the cloth appear younger than it truly is. These alternative interpretations have fueled further examination, as scholars seek to reconcile science with history. Supporters of authenticity point to details that appear almost impossible to reproduce. The faint image of a crucified man is incredibly precise, showing wounds that match descriptions of Roman execution. Bloodstains are authentic human blood, containing proteins and chemical markers that would be difficult to fake. The three-dimensional quality of the image, revealed by modern imaging techniques, adds another layer of intrigue. Supporters argue that no known medieval artist could have produced such a detailed, scientifically verified combination of features, suggesting that the shroud may indeed originate from a far earlier time. Skeptics, however, remain cautious. Many historians and scientists view the shroud as a medieval creation designed to inspire devotion or attract attention. Artistic techniques from the 13th and 14th centuries, although not identical, show examples of similar representations and symbolic imagery. The medieval period was a time of intense religious expression, and relics played a powerful role in shaping belief and social influence. To some, the shroud fits into this context as an extraordinary example of medieval devotion and ingenuity rather than an ancient artifact. The debate is not simply about age, it also encompasses the very nature of evidence. Every test, every study, and every interpretation adds complexity rather than clarity. While some see divine mystery woven into the fibers, others see human skill and historical circumstance. The shroud's journey through fires, travels across continents, and exposure to countless hands adds layers of history that complicate dating and authentication. Each wrinkle and burn is a story, making it difficult to separate material fact from historical experience. This ongoing debate is part of the shroud's enduring power. The tension between science and faith, skepticism and belief, historical documentation and physical evidence keeps fascination alive across generations. Even today, researchers continue to explore, measure, and test the fabric with ever-advancing technology, while believers continue to revere it as a symbol of spiritual connection. The shroud occupies a space where certainty remains elusive, inviting reflection, wonder, and continued study. Understanding this debate provides essential context for its mystery. The shroud is not merely an object to observe, but a puzzle that blends history, science, and spirituality. It continues to challenge assumptions, provoke curiosity, and inspire awe. As the discussion unfolds, the next focus turns to the broader implications, the ways the shroud captivates imagination and sparks reflection, beyond questions of authenticity, guiding attention toward meaning, interpretation, and human fascination with the unknown. Faith, mystery, and meaning. The Shroud of Turin continues to capture hearts and minds, not just as a historical artifact, but as a symbol wrapped in layers of mystery and meaning. Its allure does not lie solely in scientific questions or debates about authenticity. The shroud speaks to something deeper, the human fascination with the unknown, the longing to connect with the past, and the desire to touch something that feels sacred. Every thread seems to carry a story, and every faint mark evokes awe and reflection. It is this combination of wonder and unanswered questions that gives the Shroud its lasting power. For believers, the Shroud represents a direct link to events and figures of profound spiritual significance. It is a tangible connection to faith, evoking devotion and contemplation. Pilgrims and viewers often describe a sense of closeness or reverence, as if the cloth itself bridges centuries, reaching across time to offer a moment of personal reflection. This emotional response is just as real as the scientific phenomena it presents, demonstrating how the Shroud engages both the heart and the mind. The ability to inspire such intense devotion, even without absolute proof, highlights the Shroud's unique place in human culture. Even for skeptics, the Shroud holds fascination. It is a puzzle unlike any other, challenging historians, scientists, and researchers to explain how such a precise image could form naturally or by human hand. The combination of faint visual details, verified human blood, and three-dimensional qualities continues to defy simple explanation. Every test and analysis reveals something new, adding to the sense that the Shroud is more than the sum of its parts. It is an artifact that demands attention, patience, and careful observation, inviting ongoing study that spans decades and even centuries. The mystery of the Shroud has also sparked imagination in art, literature, and culture. Its story inspires reflection on human history, mortality, and faith. The debates, discoveries, and questions surrounding it create a narrative that stretches across centuries, blending scientific curiosity with human emotion. This blending is what makes the Shroud so compelling. It refuses to be confined to a single category. It is not just a relic, nor just a puzzle. It is a living story that grows richer with each generation that studies or venerates it. Jonathan Roumie's reaction to the Shroud reflects this same sense of wonder. His words, describing something extraordinary and almost beyond comprehension, echo the responses of countless people who have encountered the cloth over time. The fascination is not rooted in sensationalism, but in the acknowledgement of something remarkable, something that science has yet to fully explain, and that history and faith continue to interpret in profound ways. The Shroud remains a bridge between evidence and imagination, certainty and doubt, reality and mystery. Ultimately, the Shroud of Turin defies simple answers because it sits at the intersection of history, science, and spirituality. Its story is ongoing, inviting curiosity, reflection, and reverence. Whether viewed as a sacred relic, a historical masterpiece, or a mysterious artifact that challenges understanding, it continues to captivate and inspire. Each examination, every study, and every encounter adds depth to its story, ensuring that fascination never fades. Beyond all tests and debates, the Shroud inspires questions about life, suffering, belief, and the desire to witness something greater than ordinary experience. It stands as a testament to human wonder, a reminder that some mysteries are not meant to be solved immediately, but to be felt, explored, and cherished across generations. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.